This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is the Son of Kosovo, Berat Gorani, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player and Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside Scooter Dust.
Wubba wubba wubba.
And it is a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the Son of Kosovo, Berat Gorani.
Hello. Quite the introduction, thank you.
We like to do it big, especially for new champions.
Oh, thank you.
And speaking of being a new champion, can you tell us what you got coming up next and where we can find you on social media?
For sure. Yeah, every last Friday of the month, I'm at the rec room here in South Edmonton for Love Pro Wrestling. Every 2 months or so, I head out to Saskatoon, with the next show being June 17th out there. Every Thursday and Friday, and last Thursday and Friday of the month I meet for LPW. Both of them social media, fairly simple. It is Berat Gorani 7 on Instagram, Berat Gorani KS on Twitter. And I'm fairly active on both, so feel free to add me up.
And merchandise?
I don't have anything on websites, just my merch. If you're at the shows, I usually have it with me.
Okay. And you don't have to go looking for his social media. All of the links will be in the description of the video below or on YouTube and Castbox. Alright, let's get into it. You just won the Love Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championships. You beat the Rats, who I believe were the first ever champions. What was that moment like, and what does that mean to you?
The fact that I was in there with the Sheik is a great moment and means a lot. He's helped me out since very early on in my career. Getting to wrestle the Rads, as we've had this dance plenty of times and they kept having our number. It was about time we pulled a quick one on them and returned the favor.
Right, and I mean, they held those championships for quite some time. So what does it kind of mean to you to be the one to dethrone them?
It's a pretty special moment. It says something. Those guys beat quite a few tag teams coming up. The first ever title match, we actually were in it, along with the Bollywood Boys and Clandestine Society. The Rads ended up beating the Bollywood Boys, so we didn't lose. So we just kept going back at it, and to beat the Rads, and now we're representing the company for Love Pro Wrestling. It just says that we got two good-looking fellers representing the tag team division.
All right. Scooter, you have a question.
Yes, I do. All right. Now, something I noticed about your career is you do a lot. You put your wrestling ability to use for a good cause more often than a lot of talent today. And so it would be safe to say that you do tend to wrestle a lot for not just promotions, but promotions that are doing charity events.
Yes. Yeah. I nothing better than to give back, kind of thing, to the people that support you and everything, but not just them, the people in need, so to speak. Growing up and getting the second chance in life, so to speak, came from people like the same way. I'm a refugee here in Canada from 1999, so I wouldn't have made it without help from others. We had like sponsorship families, so any opportunity I can get to give back to people in need, I'm always for it.
I love that. Love that. Can you tell us about? I don't want to play favorites here because that seems a little self-defeating. But tell us about one of your most memorable experiences wrestling for a good cause.
Just the outcome and the support of the city is always mind blowing to me. The first one I did was Pro Wrestling YAG, where we did a big charity there, and we packed up the university here, which was quite shocking as well. And most recently, with Michael Richard Blaze doing an 8-hour long match for the Children's Stollery Hospital, the amount of money we were able to raise just absolutely shocked me. It like 10 times the amount of what we wanted almost.
Continue.
I just want to one that's absolutely heartwarming as a child who spent a lot of his youth in hospitals. You don't really understand the gravity of how much these places, these charities need support from us in order to do the great work that they do. So again, this just not only does that make you a great wrestler, I think it makes you a great human being.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It wasn't just me; it's a lot of people involved. I think we have a lot of great human beings in the wrestling business here up in Alberta.
I could definitely attest to that. And speaking of the Infinity Gauntlet, you gave $5 for every minute you were in there with Michael, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
What? How long did you? How long was that portion of the match?
So that match ended up going 20 minutes. So I donated another $100 right after my match.
That's incredible. I imagine you were pretty beat up, sore after the match. Probably could take a nap.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, it was pretty bad, but nothing compared to what Michael was going through that night.
Man, I watched from the beginning and then at the end to see how worn out he was. It's just a test to what kind of human being he is. And then the hug between him and Steven. Oh.
Yeah. It was heartwarming.
Oh yeah. Right. Now, like we said, you are one half of the tag team champions. Can you tell us about your tag team partner, the Sheik Akbar Shabaz?
What would you like to know? He's the wily veteran of his tag team.
Well, I mean, your relationship with the Sheik.
The Sheik. My first ever wrestling match when I was still training was actually against the Sheik. Back when this was under PWA, I had still not finished my training. My first match was against him. The amount of times I spent at his house and everything, this is a friendship years in the making. And then we finally decided it's time to team up and just start dominating the entire wrestling division.
So your relationship with him goes back to day one?
Before, yeah. I met him years ago, before I even started training.
That being said, what's a pet peeve about the Sheik that you just don't understand?
No pet peeves yet. We're still on good terms. What are you trying to do here?
But that's something that you just don't understand that he does.
He does nothing wrong, man. He kicks ass when he's in the ring. I love his attitude. I love the cockiness. Nothing but good things.
Perfect. Hey, Scooter, you have a question.
Can you tell us a little bit about your matches with Juventud Guerrera and what it was like to be in there with somebody who had so much experience, who I'm going to assume you saw as a young man, just like I did, and what was one or two pieces of advice or wisdom, pieces of wisdom that he shared with you or imparted on you?
For sure. Yeah, no, my first few matches with him, I actually was teaming up with him. I think it was like 2 or 3 in a row. And just being able to just watch what he's doing from that close up is kind of, shocking. Especially, I think it was a year and a half in, maybe 2 at the time. So it was very shocking and awesome to see how you're saying somebody I watched growing up, thinking these guys were bigger than life and everything. And then there's a reason it always says card subject to change on the bottom, because my match with him actually came because of a card change. Someone couldn't show up, and then Hoovy said, "Hey, the kid I've been teaming with, he looks pretty good. Let me have a match with him." So I got to have a one-on-one with him, which was pretty awesome. The match itself could have been a bit better, but I think I personally learn more from my matches that don't go good compared to the ones where I'm like, "Oh, that one was great," kind of thing. Or an average match, so to speak. So he just was able to notice how green I was right off the bat. Maybe the moment might have got to me, just being a bigger name kind of thing. But the fact that right after the match, he was calm and able to talk to me for a solid 30 minutes outside and just explain and break down a 10, 15-minute match was pretty amazing. And just the secrets he gave me on how to just stay calm and has really helped me now in the long run.
All right. Yeah, James, back to you.
Yes. You recently wrestled Harry Smith Jr., obviously a big name anywhere. What was that experience like? And what was it? Was you able to have a conversation with him after the match?
Yeah, so with Harry Smith being a tall and bigger guy, I love wrestling bigger guys. Height, and I'm not the bulkiest guy, but I'm fairly tall, so I'm usually bigger than most people. So now often I get to step in the ring with bigger guys than me, so that was a bit of a change. Harry was really great, willing to work with anybody and everybody. Super nice guy in the match. I was expecting to be really sore after that match, but it didn't go that way. I was a lot better. And again, right after the match, he pulled me aside and he gave me some pointers and some things he liked and some things he said this can obviously improve, kind of thing.
It's interesting that you said that you wasn't too sore after the match, because I only shook his hand and it seemed like my hand was about to break.
Yeah, he's a big, strong guy, but
Yeah.
I've been training for that moment. If it was early on in my career, I might have been a bit more sore, but I've been training for this types of matches for a while.
Right. Hey, Scooter, you have a question.
Now, we talked about one team. I have to ask, why free money?
Was what, sorry? Free money?
I believe you're para lira.
It's money, sorry.
Money, okay.
Yeah, it's money in Albanian and money in Lebanese.
Okay, that's what was giving me the slip. Okay.
Yeah, Google Translate's not always the greatest, but yeah, it's Para Lira is our tag team name, and money.
Sweet.
So I'm gonna ask another question a little later, but is it safe to say you're fluent in Albanian?
I am, yeah.
Okay, all right. Tell us a little bit about the King of Transcona tournament.
This is judging my memory now. This is back in Winnipeg, I believe. Is this 2019 or 2020?
I believe it was 19.
Yeah. So I would have still been the spaceman. I believe in that tournament, I made it to the finals, which was a big elimination match, and ended up losing in that. But again, with that tournament, I believe it spanned 2 or 3 days throughout some reserves, which going back to charity is kind of not as big as a big charity event, but it's always great to get out to these reserves, visit children at schools, kind of speak with them and everything. And I was still a good guy back then as a spaceman, so I was able to interact with the children a lot more. So it's always fun to give back to the communities that host us. As far as the wrestling goes, I do remember them having quite fun matches there, but I didn't get the goal I wanted. I didn't quite become the king.
You have to 2020, like myself. Yep.
Let's you mentioned him. Can you tell us about the Spaceman Beri Grayson?
Well, again, see, this is where the Sheik, my tag team partner now, is the one that gave me that nickname. In my first ever match, I was just Beri Grayson wrestling. He saw my tattoos, my gear, and everything, and he's like, "What are you, some kind of spaceman?" And throughout the time, just the fans started chanting it, and it kind of came to life on its own. So I went with it. It was a goofy character who liked to have fun, dance. I don't know. Maybe he comes back one day. But for now, I'm telling people the spaceman got COVID and he's no longer around.
Oh God, that's dope. But what kind of made the change from evolving from Beri Grayson to Berat Gorani?
I didn't want. I always wanted to do this foreign gimmick, so to speak. But I knew early on I wasn't quite comfortable yet, and I didn't want to fail, so to speak. So I was willing to come up with a character more generic, like which was a Beri Grayson, and that comes from people calling me Barry for short for my name back home, and then the Grayson comes from Nightwing. So that's why I kind of did a bit of the plant flips and stuff. So and then Spaceman comes, because I just love. I'm intrigued by outer space kind of thing. And then I just knew if it didn't fail, I knew I had a fallback. So I was just able to go out there, have fun with it, try anything and everything, and just take everything that worked and everything that didn't. I just pushed to the side. I was like, okay, just keep going. And unfortunately, once the world shut down, I just thought maybe now is the perfect time to change it up. No one is. You take this real 1.5-year break. If I come back as a different persona, the perfect time kind of thing.
And that's so interesting. Even though you're the spaceman, you have Berat Gorani in the back of your mind, and you're essentially developing him while you're also developing the character that you are at that time. No.
100%, yeah. Yeah, I didn't want this to be something I just tried right away and fell on my face. So it was definitely taking pointers of, hey, this is what's working, developing my current character, but also putting ideas in the notebooks kind of thing for when I do turn into this new character.
Was it always, did you always see him as who you are now as a heel, or because you were a face back then?
Always as a heel, yeah. I wasn't sure if I was going to use my real name or not, but I did see it always being to start off as the angry, unpleasant foreign guy who's not happy where he's at, kind of thing. I've had some tweaks and changes to it now. I'm more cocky and arrogant than angry.
All right, Scooter, you have a question.
Yes.
Don't forget the Burger King question.
I'm not doing that bit anymore. Tell us about playing No Mercy with your nephew for the first time.
I've been playing No Mercy up until probably 2008 or 9 religiously. Like I said, growing up as a refugee family, we didn't have all the PlayStations, the Xboxes right off the bat or anything until I got my own job in high school. So I had the No Mercy, and like my character roster has like the CM Punks, Batista, Orton, Cena, all custom made and everything, just to keep up with the times. And now the fact that my nephews are old enough to understand what wrestling is and they love that game, I had to pass it on to them. And it's always amazing to play because they'll play around, and then it's always a handicap match after them against me. I've also created myself in the video game now. I created them in the video game, so it's a lot of fun when we get together to play that.
All right. Okay. Now, you're a big tattoo fan. You finished a sleeve a number of years ago, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about. Well, is there any of your current tattoos that is the most significant, and why?
Significance. It would have to. I have my daughter's name on my forearm here. That's gonna. I'm being a father is the number one thing for me. It was the greatest thing in life. I also have my grandma's name on my left pec here. Unfortunately, she passed away years ago, but I was obviously very close with her. I have my flag of the Albanian flag, the Kosovo flag, and the Canada flag all mixed together. It's actually my logo currently, just because I'm proud of my background, but I also love Canada, contrary to my gimmick. I love it here because it's like a second chance in life and everything. And then my space tattoo is just something I've always been intrigued as when I was a young kid. I wanted to be a big astronaut, scientist guy, but then I figured out you had to be smart and have high grades, and that just wasn't my route. But needless to say, I still watch like documentaries and that stuff on planets, and I'm very intrigued. I definitely think there's something out there. What? Who knows? But I don't know, something about all the colors, and the big stars, and everything just intrigues me, and the unknown.
How long did it take you to finish the space tattoo? Because it's very intricate.
Before I answer that, if my wife listens to this, she'll kill me if I don't say this, but I have my wife's name as well on the back of my shoulder with the infinity. So if I forget that, I won't make it to any of my new shows.
I think she might be more angry if you had somebody else's wife's name on here.
But for the space tattoo one, it took me eight sessions. 8 full sessions, so some of them were about 8 hours, some 10-hour days.
Oh wow!
My tattoo artist's name is Eric Kosh. Tattoo Vortex is him on Instagram. If you want to check him out, he's over in the Canmore area. The man does amazing color work, and he's even gotten better since he's done me. I'm planning on going back to him. I just don't know what yet.
Okay, so plans for new tattoos, but not quite sure what yet.
Yeah, if I could, I'd be covered. But I also now have a wrestling gimmick to portray and everything, so that's been stopping me on getting certain tattoos just for now.
Okay. Anything you want to finish up with tattoo, Scooter?
No. I think that's it for tattoos.
Okay.
You guys have tattoos by chance?
I unfortunately do not, only because I was always told growing up that they're against my religion. But there's nowhere in the Torah that says don't get tattoos. It says don't desecrate your body.
Yeah, it's never too late. You can always do
I do want to get either a Star of David on the nape of my neck or the word Kalev, which means warrior in Hebrew.
Definitely do it up, man. It's never too late. Make this your body, right? Make yourself happy.
I'm in the same boat as Scooter. I don't have any tattoos. Like he said, I was told it was against my religion. And I just...
I was told the same thing, guys. That's just how it is in most religions, right?
Right. And honestly, I just stick to that, and I'm going to stick to that for... Yeah. But let's talk about something awesome you did. You wrestled at the Saddle Dome. Obviously a big hockey arena. Bret Hart connected to it. What was that experience like, being on the ice competing?
Yeah, I've wrestled there now twice. The first time was as the Spaceman, and the second time was as Berat Gorani. The first time going back, we were running shows monthly, 2 times a month kind of thing, and Bret Hart helped us set it all up. And I was in a big battle royale thing. That was actually really amazing, just going out there and hearing that many fans react to anything you did. And then hearing after the show that Bret Hart loved my long hair. I was like, I got something going on. And then a year later, I went and cut it all off.
Oh,
no.
AJ Sanchez cut my hair after a match, and that was the start of my attitude change. But we got to the next one. This time I was on the other end. I was no longer being cheered by the fans. Now I'm getting booed by the fans. So I've been able to experience both sides there in the Saddle Dome, which is, I believe we had around 1,500 stay after the hockey games both times. So that was pretty big crowd to be in front of, and just the atmosphere. There's nothing like that first time walking out on the ice, just seeing the big Titantron. It's not like the mecca of all shows kind of thing, but you're still in the Saddle Dome. It's covered in history. I went to my first WWE event there. It just, it's an amazing moment, and I hope I can make it a third time there.
My thing seeing at that, because it's right after a hockey game, so you're on ice in very thin clothing, essentially half naked.
Yeah.
So it has to be really cold, no?
You don't feel it because you're going, so you're sweating and everything. The only thing that really sucks is that ring remains really cold. So the ring hurts enough as it is. When it stays frozen, it just makes it that much worse with every time you get thrown down.
Ooh. Did you fall on the ice as well?
I did not. That was just Thaddeus Archer, who can't seem to walk on ice.
Alright. Scooter.
Alright. Tell us, in your opinion, what is the perfect recipe for a Moscow Mule?
For a Moscow Mule, you paid attention to that. It's probably my favorite drink, even though I don't drink too much. Usually when I go down and visit my tattoo artist, who's now my friend, and I have another buddy who's been down in the mountain area for years. But it has to be the clear vodka, light on the ginger beer, because too much just burns. A bit of mint, and that is all I need.
Does the copper mug make it better?
Yes. I went and bought my own copper mugs for that exact reason. I have some at my house. So whenever I have a drink or two, it has to be in the copper mug.
My cousin bought a set of copper mugs. Specifically, they were called Moscow Mule mugs.
Yeah.
Just so they could have this drink. They unfortunately ended up not liking it. They're not ginger beer people. They're vodka people. They're not ginger beer people. But
I was going to say, the ginger beer, if you add too much, it just burns your throat, and it's not like a pleasant burn. So you just need like the right amount. You got to play around with that.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a little bit of a curveball question here.
Yeah.
Do you know how the Moscow Mule came to be?
I do not.
So apparently the Moscow Mule came into existence because one particular vendor in the early 1900s, around Prohibition, had numerous cases of Smirnoff that they couldn't sell for some reason. They also had in-house ginger beer that they could not sell for some reason. And one person, someone in that tavern bar, decided to mix them together after a the I don't know if this a guy specifically is credited with creating the Moscow Mule copper mug, but the inventor's daughter, I believe, had literally gone around with the mugs trying to sell them because her family was going to throw them in the trash because they did not value them. They seemed like they were rubbish to them. And Moscow Mule is apparently responsible for putting the Smirnoff brand on the map.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I could. I'm gonna relate that kind of similar here to something. If you got two things that aren't selling, like the ginger beer and the vodka, you put them together, you make a good drink. You add the copper mug, and you have the perfect drink. In my aspect, it's kind of like me and the Sheik. We weren't doing too much on our own. You put us together, we start dominating. You add those LPW tag team titles, and you got the perfect tag team.
I love how you brought that right back around to pro wrestling.
Oh,
and you both still leave the throat stinging.
Yeah. You can't feel your throat after you take our finish.
Exactly.
Hey, I found it interesting that you wrestled Sean Moore. Obviously, one of the more main names in pro wrestling right now in the Canadian scene, and you wrestled him in a 2 out of 3 falls match. What was that match like, competing 2 out of 3 falls with somebody that I consider a little bit underrated nowadays?
Sean Moore is definitely underrated. I love Sean Moore. He's helped me out a lot as well. We wrestled when I was the Spaceman. He was kind of more an attitude change at the time. So he did cheat at the end to beat me. Otherwise, I would have beat him in the third fall. Nobody saw the low blow. But, hey, later on, now I know those tricks. But that was the first time I've ever actually been in that 2 out of 3 falls match back then. I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know they would be so physically demanding. One match can be hard enough as it is.
Right.
3 matches in a row, something else. Because I believe, if I remember correct, I beat him in match 1, and then he bested me 2 times in a row and retained his Commonwealth Championship.
Right, and I mean, one match with Sean Moore could be, a rough outing, let alone 3.
Sean Moore's not very nice in the ring. He's definitely knows what he's doing with his wrestling background. He should not be taken lightly by anybody.
Maybe we'll see. Look, Pro Wrestling's doing great things with the both of you. Maybe we'll see another one-on-one match sooner rather than later.
I'm definitely down. Anyone wants to book me or Sean Moore, I'm there.
And I think that's a good segue into our next segment. Berat Gorani's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
I've been fortunate enough. Oh, no, never mind. I've had one.
Here we go.
In those long tours for CWE, your vehicles break down right, left, and center. So on my first tour around, my vehicle ended up being the only one that didn't break down when I joined the crew. So the truck was breaking down, other people's vehicles were breaking down. And this led to Psychosis asking, can he just ride with me the rest of my time on the tour? So not only was I on shows with him, I was riding up and down the road with him for the next 3 weeks. So that was an amazing thing. But as far as bizarre, right after that King Transacona tournament in Winnipeg, on our way back, we made it back to Red Deer and all safe and sound. That's where I had met up some of the guys. Get in my vehicle, we're heading back up to Edmonton. I still lived in Grand Prairie at the time. So I'm just outside of Edmonton and my alternator blows in the middle of the night.
Oh no.
Now I'm stuck on the side of the road. We had to wait until 8 a.m. for a tow truck to come pick my vehicle. About an hour out of Edmonton, take me back to Edmonton, get it fixed, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun.
No, unfortunately, I've only had the one where I've been stranded on the road, and I haven't hit anything, so we'll knock on wood and hope it remains like that.
Yeah, I mean, considering that most of our bizarre adventures come from the Canadian roads, it's you should consider yourself lucky that's the worst that's happened yet.
Oh yeah, I tried through blizzards and everything. I've drove for so much of my life. I used to have a hot shotting business, kind of like skip the dishes before skip the dishes. So I've been in a vehicle forever, so I'm comfortable on the road, but definitely going through the BC mountains when you can't see 10 feet in front of you, going through the Alberta to Winnipeg roads. I've had my fair share of bad weather, but I've made it.
And obviously, no alien or paranormal encounters as well.
That's funny you say that because I have seen like flashes in the sky and that made me pull over in the empty Saskatoon roads. When I'd be coming back on my own, just flat land, clear skies, you see a flash, I would pull over. I'm like, I wonder what that was. But no aliens yet.
It's interesting you say that because that's not the first time we've had extraterrestrial encounters.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. If someone wants to come say hi, come visit.
All right, Scooter, you have a question.
All right, now I'm going to attempt this in Albanian. I apologize in advance if this is butchered. Sipas Yush Guasha Putina Maamera ne Canada.
I got the ending there. The best in Canada. What was the front, the beginning there?
Sipas Yush Guasha Putina. Being Canadian, we ask all our Canadian guests about this. In your opinion, where is the best poutine in Canada?
See, my kid's favorite meal is a poutine. Me, on the other hand, they all taste the same to me. There can be bad ones if they're bad fries, but as long as the gravy is good, I love gravy, so the gravy makes it. But I don't actually have an answer because I don't go hunting it down. There was a family-owned restaurant in Canmore that only did poutines. It was like the industrial area. I'm not sure if it's any longer there, but I know every time I went there, I'd have to go have one poutine. So maybe that's going to be my answer for now. But other than that, I'll have a poutine at a restaurant or a fast food chain. And it's no problem.
All right. I think I can ask the other Canadian question, but
Go for it.
Is Ryan Reynolds truly Canada's greatest national treasure? And if not, who do you think is?
I am Canada's greatest treasure.
Hey, that works for me.
Ryan Reynolds is great. again, I'd lean more towards pro wrestlers, so more on like the Bret Hart kind of thing, or even like Canadian basketball players. So you got your Steve Nashes and stuff like that. That's kind of more of my genre area. I watch movies because I'm very easy to please. I don't complain about them, but I suck at remembering actors' names. I remember the character they played, and that's about it. So my answer is going to have to be probably Bret Hart for the wrestling side of things.
All right.
Can you tell us about your love of chubby drinks?
Those were great when I was a kid. I remember walking around and like my parents would give me maybe a toonie, and all my like other friends would get like $5-10. So we'd be walking, and so many people in my neighborhood had little like gravel/rock driveways, and they dropped a lot of change. So you would just keep going, find a bit of change, and go get yourself some chubbies. So I forget where I was coming back from, but I stopped at the most random gas station, and I found chubbies, and I was like, "No way!" And I had to buy a bunch of them. This is a great childhood memory brought back.
We called them here in New York. We call them quarter waters.
Do they still sell them down there? I haven't seen them in ages again.
Well, mine were we were unfortunately so poor because ours were generic. Our flavors were colors. Which one do you want? Oh, I'll have the red.
That's how we were when we were kids. Like the pineapple one is the one I remember specifically getting when I saw them again. But like it was the red or the blue. I don't remember specific flavors, and I was like, "Oh, pineapple, cool."
Yeah, the colored sugar water that in elementary school they threw in when you bought a hot dog because nobody else was buying them on their own.
Kids love their sugar and water.
Now, I do have to ask, was you at the infamous Denny's incident?
I've been to a lot of Denny's. Which incident are we talking about?
The one where TJ Cannon may or may not have not ordered hash browns.
I've been there with TJ, and we've all been standing across the table yelling at each other. I don't know if I was at the one where he didn't order or ordered hash browns, but anytime I'm at a Denny's, two things come up. Whether you prefer your fries with ketchup or mayo, and me and TJ Cannon are team mayo all the way through on anything and everything. And the other thing is, if you like holiday sauce or you don't, then you're on my team if you love it, because I'll have eggs and bennies in the middle of the night.
But you answered another question. You are pro mayo.
Very pro mayo, and like I said, me and TJ Cannon are team mayo, and me and Miles DeVille are pro holiday sauce.
Alright. Now, you have a love for Dragon Ball Z, correct?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us about it?
As I'm looking at all my figures right now that I've spent way too much money on.
Which ones
I don't
do you
know,
have?
something. What's that, sorry?
Who do you have? Which ones?
I have a lot that my kid takes right now remaining in my room. I have the ones that she cannot touch. I have a Rose Goku, like bigger figure. I have a Super Saiyan 3 Goku doing the Dragon Fist along with the dragon. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Piccolo, Super Saiyan 1 Goku when he first turned against Frieza, so he's all ripped up. Raditz, Frieza, another Piccolo, blue-haired Vegeta, Super Saiyan 2 Goku, Trunks, and then I got a bunch of the little like flavor drinks with two more I got to open and add them to my collection here.
Sweet. So you
And
are a
that's
big
another
fan
Dragon Ball.
of Dragon Ball.
I am.
What's your favorite arc and who's your favorite character? I should say.
Goku's my favorite. Goku's my favorite by far. As far as arcs, I love them all because I don't think there's a reason I don't watch the Kai and the other bridge stuff because I feel like it's mocking the show I grew up loving, and I'll go back and watch. But the introduction in the new one of the Super Saiyan Rose Goku, just because I love the color pink, has become one of my favorites. Just because Goku Black turning into like the Rose Super Saiyan.
That was an interesting saga because it was the first two seasons of Super were just a rehash of the movie. So that was the first original content we got from Super. So it was very interesting.
Yeah, it felt great being able to watch weekly episodes again. And I hear that this year, sometime we're supposed to get the next season. I've been trying to avoid all the mangas to avoid all the spoilers because I've been expecting another season for so long.
Oh yeah.
Even though I feel like I know a lot of the stuff that's going to happen. Going back to the tattoo stuff, my next one is definitely most likely going to be a Dragon Ball Z tattoo. It's just where do I put it so I can hide it while I'm wrestling, kind of thing.
I mean, if you want to add to your space tattoo, you could have one of the Saiyan pods just floating in there.
It's funny that you asked that because when I got this tattoo, there's actually a planet in there, and it's the planet Namek that I have in my space sleeve.
Awesome.
I got planets all around, and I got Namek on there too.
Fun little fact there. I love that.
But I guess technically I have a Dragon Ball Z tattoo already.
I would definitely say so. Right.
Yeah, I love Naruto as well, so maybe mix them up a bit, but we'll see. I just don't have enough time to watch any more shows nowadays. I'd love to get into some of the new ones, but for now I'll stick to what I know.
I mean, you can't go wrong with the original DBZ.
No, I get my daughter loves Dragon Ball Z now. The fact that I love Goku, she loves Vegeta. I think she did it on purpose, but just to go against me.
Hey, I mean, she likes Dragon Ball. Just take that as a win.
Oh, that's a big win. As a daughter and loving Dragon Ball, I was shocked.
Right. All right, Scooter, I believe you have a colossal question.
Yes, I do. So, let's say a Blockbuster movie studio, not a Blockbuster video store, a Blockbuster movie studio, wants to make the Berat Gorani wrestling career movie. And every great blockbuster starts with a soundtrack. Everybody knows that. Before they even think of actors, they gotta have the music. So, what would be 3 to 5 songs on the soundtrack to the Berat Gorani wrestling career blockbuster movie?
I thought you were going to ask me about actors. As far as music goes, I'm sorry to say, I'm not the most music guy, as my brother has the one that loves music. I'd rather listen to podcasts down the road, and just music is just there when I work out kind of thing. But let's see what I can come up with kind of. I may not be able to pick specific songs, but as far as artists, I'm sure I can get some out there. I'd have to have a DMX song in there. Let's go with like Party Up in Here because I just love to have a good time and full of energy all the time. For when the movie gets hard, I guess, and you have your downs, I'm going to throw Machine Gun Kelly in there. His song called The Return. It was never in an album. It's just like on YouTube or his little singles kind of thing.
Okay.
Because I sing this song a lot, I have to put Rihanna's Disturbia because just randomly walking around, I'll start singing it. And anyone that knows me knows I'll sing that.
Well, you put the Papa Goes Punk version by the Cab on there as a bonus track, just so you know, gotta stay hard.
It's true. And let's go with Gwen Stefani's "Hollaback Girl" because that movie would be bananas, so to speak.
Oh, I love that.
And it'd have to be some kind of Albanian song, but I still listen to a lot of traditional Albanian music as well. It just kind of lets me calm down, and I find I'm not totally listening to the music, but I listen to it, and I can just start thinking of wrestling ideas as I'm driving down the highway. So I don't know, throw my theme song in there in Albanian or something.
Alright. That's a solid 5 picks. Like Rihanna and Gwen Stefani. And DMX. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
I play around with it a bit, right? There's going to be all sorts of feelings in this movie.
Alright, Scooter, you know what the second part of this is.
Okay. Now we ask about actors, because actors always come second. Now that we've got the soundtrack, who would play Berat Gorani in the Berat Gorani wrestling career blockbuster? And you cannot pick yourself because you are contractually obliged to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
Perfect. Why is I'm seeing his face right now, but his name is leaving my mouth. God dang. Get into the Greek with the long hair. I got Russell Brand.
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand is playing me when I have my long hair to the T, because the amount of times I've been called Russell Brand, you wouldn't even believe. I can walk into a convenience store, people are, hey, Russ, you look like Russell Brand. Hey, at wrestling shows, fans start chanting Russell Brand, everything. So I'm going to go with Russell Brand is playing me.
Yep, having my long hair. I haven't had a haircut in, I think I'm now going on 5 years. And the beard. I swear, unfortunately, you don't know what I look like, right? But if you put us together when we both had full facial hair and long hair, I guarantee the majority of people would think we were related. That's how much I think we look alike. But Russell Brand, I like that.
Do I get getting called? And anytime someone says it, my response is, hey, if you think I can get with Katy Perry, I will take it.
Why? Why's KT?
Because they were dating for so long, right?
They were married.
Yeah. No, they're not.
No, they
were
married, but
they were married. Yeah. He divorced her towards the end of her tour.
Yeah, that's right.
I should have the Katy Perry song in my movie as well, man.
I mean, yeah,
absolutely.
But, I mean, it's your movie. You could have Katy Perry in it.
Are we talking pop Katy Perry or early edgy lyrics Katy Perry?
Just kind of, I guess it'd be earlier / mid, so to speak.
So like Dark Horse.
No,
like California Girls is more my jam. I would party to that down the highway.
One of her first songs was a breakup song called "You're So Gay," and it's like, I hope you choke to death in your H&M scarf, jacking off, listening to Mozart. Some interesting lyrics there, but
Now that we got you down for Russell Brand is playing you, who would be? Every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be 3 people in your movie? And I won't make you pick who will play them. Just 3 people in your movie.
3 people?
Yeah.
I gotta add my tag team partner, because we come together. I gotta get the Sheik somebody to play him. We need a handsome bald feller.
Fair enough.
I need a cowboy for Stephen Crowe, who's one of my best friends outside of wrestling. So I need a wild pink cowboy hat wearing feller. And then I need a savior for Michael Richard Blaze. That would be my 3 supporting cast.
Sweet. I mean, all solid people to have in your movie.
Yes, I agree. There's no movie without them. Let's say that. There's no wrestling part without them.
Definitely. Alright, on to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
Yes. I used to manage a pizza shop up in Grand Prairie there. It was probably one of the busiest ones in town. And we had a special. If you buy a large or extra large, you get a free medium pickup to top it. And the most popular pizza was ham and pineapple. The amount of pineapples we went through says that pineapples belong on pizza.
Okay, so, well, we have a pizza expert here. He made pizzas. He's saying pineapple belongs on pizza. That being said, does kangaroo belong on pizza?
No, not really. It wasn't that great. I have had a kangaroo sausage pizza at the Stampede in Calgary. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the greatest.
Well, you could certainly say it was full of hops.
Yeah, the taste definitely didn't jump at me.
Well, what's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon?
Yes.
Huh. I don't know. I like a lot of them. I'm more like the early seasons. I think it's like Gen 4 or 5 where Darkrai came in. He's one of my favorites. Houndoom, Weevil. Yeah, I like the dark guys, I figure. I did that little test not too long ago on ranking your favorites, and Dark was by far the more popular one. I'll have to go with Weevil, just because he's a cool looking guy. I love his shiny form, and he's a sneaky little prankster kind of thing in the shows. Him in the Sneasel version.
Sweet. Alright, we love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
No.
Scooter.
T is for terrible. H is for hell. U is for ugly. And G is for jail. Because a thug can't spell.
Okay, great. I'll take it.
We love the late great Tracy Smothers trying to keep the memory alive on the show.
I love it. Perfect. My type of joke.
Weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would
For
you
5
ever,
minutes.
would you ever consider wrestling a rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual rock.
Right now, probably no. But I mean, down the road, I'd probably be willing to wrestle a rock, a broom, a blow-up doll, you name it, kind of thing.
Well,
How big is this rock? Is this a boulder, a pebble rock, a sharp rock,
I usually say it's about the size of a shoe.
a shoe?
It's like a driveway rock. Yeah,
Okay.
or like a hide-a-key rock.
Then yeah, I'd wrestle a rock. Why not?
Alright. Well, just for context, there's a wrestler on the east coast of Canada called Psycho Mike that wrestled in actual rock for over 15 minutes in a tungsten man match. An Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
Tungsten.
That good on him. That's a hell of a match to have.
It's funny he didn't get the W for that one.
No,
Yeah,
that's
unfortunately.
a periodic table joke.
the rock would probably beat me too.
No, the chemical symbol for tungsten is W. So
Well, I mean, the Rock is the world champion, so you know he has to get the W, obviously.
That's true.
All right. On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Huh. If I'm still wrestling, I've hopefully about made it somewhere where I can do this for a living and I can quit my damn day job. That's where I would want to be in 5 years.
All right. And what's a match that people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Berat Gorani is all about?
Whatever my next match is going to be. I don't think I have had that one match yet. But definitely wherever I'm coming up to, make sure you show up, and I like to deliver every time I'm out there. Other than that, go check out that 8-hour match. I'm in there 3 to 4 times, I believe.
All right. Giving the people a a watch there. um, but I love the fact that you said your next match because it's always the next match, right?
It's true. Then my next matches, I always feel should be better than my last, and that is why I feel like I haven't had that match yet because every time I did, I was like, "Oh, that was a really good match." You give it a little bit, I was like, "Hey, this one is it." And then you go and you go, "Okay, now this one is it. Now this one. Now this one." For now, I guess maybe 2 months ago, watched the scramble match for the first LPW Scramble champion there. That was a lot of fun.
Alright, and I will grab those 2 matches and put them in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox. For anybody that hasn't seen them, wants to re-see them after this interview.
Perfect.
And
I mean, you can't go wrong with seeing my face, whether it be on TV or in person.
Oh, absolutely. And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom. This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Hit me with them. I'm glad you said 8 and not 7.
Yeah, it's the 8 questions of doom.
Perfect.
Alright. Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Randy Orton.
Worst wrestler.
None.
That's himself.
Anybody who steps in that ring deserves a lot of respect.
Fair enough. I don't think we're even going to go with our default answer on that one, James.
Alright. You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Michael Richard Blaze or Randy Orton.
Let's make it a triple threat.
Let's do it.
Randy Blaze.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Time to play the game.
Alright. Love Motorhead. Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
Somewhat alive.
We also would have accepted is quite good on toast.
Squash. Vegetable or fruit?
A match.
And I will accept that answer. New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Whatever you're comfortable with, man. I miss wearing my little trunks as a spaceman. So maybe one day I switch it up to very tight things. But if you're comfortable with going out there, I'm all for it.
Alright. And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
About Darby Allin?
Yes.
No.
And that is the correct answer.
Has anyone answered yes to that?
Yeah, there's been a couple people that answered yes to that question.
I'd like to meet these people.
Sal Rinauro, Brother Greatness, Mike Gamble, what is his name? Jack Stevens, all had conversations about Darby Allin in a supermarket. Jack and Sal probably have the best 2 stories out of all of them.
But tell them the real kicker about that.
Oh, Darby was in the supermarket with Jack Stevenson.
Oh, if he's there.
yeah,
that and also, Darby Allin has not had a conversation with a stranger about Darby Allin in a supermarket.
But some other people have.
Yeah. No, the
So you're over.
one story I did hear was Brody King. You remember when he beat Darby Allin up at a meet and greet?
Yeah.
Well, he apparently he went to the supermarket afterwards and he was talking to somebody and they were like, Darby Allin was in the Hot Topic across the street and he got beat up. And he was like, yeah, I was the one that did it.
He got asked.
Yeah. That was
That's great. I wish somebody asked me that.
Alright, that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with us.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me on.
And once again, where can we find all things Berat Gorani on social media?
Social media is Berat Gorani 7 on Instagram, Berat Gorani KS on Twitter. Nice and easy. I should make them the save one day.
And you don't even have to go looking, you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Give him a damn follow. And if you see him in person, buy a damn sword.
100%. If you got a sweet tooth, drop a follow. You'll get some eye candy to go with that.
Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, but on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Play on One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with Eva on Twitter and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993, and where can we find Scooter?
As always, find me outside your bed on Twitter at ScooterDust. Keep an eye to the social medias for the next live broadcast of the remix. It's coming, I swear to God. And of course, revel in my Twitch antics as I embark on Season 2 of my Dungeons & Dragons campaign along with Rico Constantino Jr. and the rest of the Smoking Dragons clan, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons.
Alright, Berat, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment, alright?
Sounds good.
For our very special guest Berat Gorani, Khalifa Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.